The hangar bay of Confederation Station Epsilon 9 fell silent as the diplomatic procession entered. Captain Maya Chen stood at attention, her 12-person crew arranged in a perfect line behind her. Their freshly pressed uniforms, the first human design approved for Confederation service, contrasted sharply with the weathered hull of the vessel floating in the docking cradle before them. Ambassador Xorlak of the Trilaxian hegemony stepped forward, 6 limbs moving in ceremonial precision. The ambassador's iridescent exoskeleton caught the light as they extended a data tablet toward Chen. On behalf of the Galactic Confederation Council, I present the patrol vessel * Tenuous Hope * to Earth's first official Confederation crew. Xorlak announced, mandibles clicking in what humans had learned was the Trilaxian equivalent of a condescending smile. We selected this particular vessel with your species' capabilities in mind. Chen accepted the tablet with a practiced diplomatic smile, though she caught the meaningful glances exchanged among the alien dignitaries. The subtext was clear. This was no honor. This was the Confederation's junk heap, disguised as a welcoming gift. The Confederation is most generous, Chen replied, maintaining the expected protocol. Humanity is grateful for this opportunity to serve alongside our galactic neighbors. As the ceremony concluded and the dignitaries filed out, Commander Zex Morta, the Confederation's liaison officer, lingered behind. The Vexidian's translucent skin flushed a pale yellow, indicating what Chen had come to recognize as mild amusement. Captain Chen, I feel obligated to manage your expectations, Zex Morta said quietly. The * Tenuous Hope * is a 30-year-old Selnar-class patrol vessel. Let me tell you about my grandfather, she said, running her hand along the worn edge of the briefing table. He was a mechanical engineer in the Brazilian restoration projects. His team received outdated equipment, minimal supplies, and impossible deadlines. The administrative officials expected failure. She stood, moving to the viewport that offered a limited view of the station beyond. Instead, my grandfather's team created innovative workarounds using discarded parts, adapted technologies from different sectors, and accomplished what the bureaucrats deemed impossible. She turned back to her crew. That resourcefulness is humanity's greatest strength, and the one thing the Confederation clearly doesn't understand about us. Patil leaned forward, eyes alight with sudden interest. Captain, I've been studying these schematics. The Selnar-class vessels were built with significant redundancies because the designers couldn't achieve proper efficiency. If we reconfigured the power distribution using Earth submarine principles. Chen nodded encouragingly. Go on, Mr. Patil. We could potentially double the effective power output without any new components. The Confederation engineers never optimized these systems because their design philosophy follows entirely different principles. One by one, the other officers began to see possibilities where they had initially seen only limitations. They expect us to fail, Chen acknowledged. So we'll succeed in ways they never imagined possible. 3 weeks into their deployment, the * Tenuous Hope * crawled through the outer reaches of Sector 12B. The ship's engines produced a concerning harmonic vibration that even Patil's ingenious recalibrations couldn't fully eliminate. On the bridge, the skeleton crew monitored systems that functioned at what Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez had labeled barely adequate levels. Maintaining course through the Colmar asteroid belt, Ensign Priya Jackson reported from the helm. She adjusted controls that occasionally stuck, compensating with practiced precision. Navigational sensors are giving us about 60% reliability. Captain Chen nodded, reviewing the star charts displayed on her console. The empty quarter deserved its nickname. Sparse stellar bodies, minimal commercial traffic, and virtually no strategic value to any major power in the Confederation. Perfect for hiding an unwanted crew with an unwanted ship. Captain, called Science Officer Lai Wei, his voice carrying an unusual note of interest. I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from asteroid LV-227. Faint but definitely artificial. Chen straightened in her command chair. Confederation registry indicates any installations in this sector. Communications Officer Park checked the database. Negative, Captain. This region was licensed to the Moraxian Mining Corporation 15 standard years ago, but they filed for dissolution after market fluctuations made operations unprofitable. Alter course to investigate, Chen ordered. Tactical status, Lieutenant Okafor. Okafor grimaced at her console readings. Weapons at minimal functionality. Shields at 43% capacity. If we encounter hostiles, our best defense is looking too pathetic to bother with. Let's hope that works in our favor, Chen replied with a wry smile. The tenuous hope approached the irregularly shaped asteroid cautiously. Nearly 12 kilometers at its widest point, the rocky body showed evidence of extensive mining operations along its cratered surface. A massive hangar door, partially concealed by accumulated space debris, marked what had once been the main entrance to the facility. Life signs? Chen asked. Negative. Wei confirmed. Environment reads as depressurized. Power signatures are minimal, likely automated maintenance systems running on emergency protocols. Chen made her decision quickly. Prepare an exploration team. Full environmental suits. I want to know what we're dealing with. 2 hours later, Chen led a 6-person team through the abandoned mining facility's cavernous main hangar. Their helmet lights cut through darkness undisturbed for over a decade. The facility had been evacuated in an orderly fashion. No signs of conflict or catastrophe, simply economic abandonment. Corporate bankruptcy at its finest, Engineer Patel commented, his voice crackling over the comm system as he examined a row of dormant fabrication units. They left behind everything too expensive to transport. These molecular assemblers alone would cost millions of credits to replace. Security Chief Navarro maintained a professional caution. Captain, Confederation salvage laws are explicit about abandoned corporate assets. Chen nodded inside her helmet. I'm aware of the regulations, Chief. For now, we're conducting a standard investigation of an unregistered energy signature. Document everything. The team progressed deeper into the facility, discovering increasingly valuable resources. Storage bays contained refined metals and rare elements. Engineering sections housed prototype technologies deemed unprofitable but fully functional. Most significantly, they found the facility's central database intact, containing technical schematics and research data. Dr. Vasquez examined environmental systems that could be reactivated. With minimal work, we could restore atmosphere to the main sections. This place is a treasure trove of possibilities. 6 hours later, the exploration team returned to the tenuous hope with preliminary findings and sample materials. Chen called a full crew briefing in the mess hall, the only space large enough to accommodate everyone comfortably. What we've discovered presents us with both opportunity and risk, Chen began, activating a holographic display of the asteroid facility. The Moraxian Corporation abandoned approximately 60 million credits worth of equipment, materials, and research when they withdrew from this region. Patel could barely contain his excitement. Captain, with those fabrication units, we could manufacture replacement parts for every system on this ship, better than the originals. The molecular assemblers are actually more advanced than what the Confederation currently employs. Lieutenant Rodriguez, operations manager, raised the obvious concern. And if we're discovered using salvaged corporate technology without proper authorization? Technically, we'd be in violation of at least 6 Confederation regulations, Okafor acknowledged. However, the legal precedent established after the Proxelian dispute gives us some flexibility. Abandoned corporate assets in non-sovereign space revert to finder's claim after 7 standard years without formal recovery efforts. Chen nodded. I've reviewed the regulations carefully. Our actions would fall into a gray area, not explicitly forbidden, but certainly not authorized. The question becomes, do we operate strictly within the boundaries set for us, or do we use this opportunity to transform our situation? The crew exchanged glances, a growing sense of possibility replacing their initial caution. If we proceed, Chen continued, we maintain complete deniability. Our patrol reports remain accurate regarding locations and timelines. We create a secure communication protocol for operations at the facility. Most importantly, we ensure that any modifications to the *Tenuous Hope* can be concealed or explained as creative maintenance. Engineer Patel projected technical schematics onto the display. I've already identified our priority systems for enhancement. We can rebuild the power distribution network using principles that the Confederation engineers would never consider. Human approaches to efficiency that alien mindsets simply don't conceptualize. Science Officer Wei added, the database contains experimental shield modulation research that was abandoned because it didn't scale properly for capital ships. For a vessel our size, however, it could increase effectiveness by over 70% while reducing power consumption. Chen looked around the room, reading the expressions of her crew. I won't order this course of action. The decision must be unanimous. We all share the risk equally. One by one, the crew members voiced their support. The final word came from Security Chief Navarro, who had maintained professional skepticism throughout. The Confederation gave us a death trap and expected us to accept our fate, he said quietly. I say we show them what humans do with impossible situations. We survive. We adapt. We overcome. Chen nodded, a slow smile spreading across her face. Then it's decided. Project Phoenix begins now. Let's rebuild this ship from the inside out and keep it our secret until the moment we need to reveal what we've created. 3 months of clandestine work had transformed the Tenuous Hope in ways invisible to casual observation. Behind access panels and within secondary systems, human ingenuity merged with alien technology to create something entirely new. The crew maintained their regular patrol schedule, filing standard reports while working in rotating shifts at the asteroid facility they now called Phoenix Base. On the bridge, Captain Chen reviewed the latest diagnostic reports with quiet satisfaction. The ship's official logs showed ongoing maintenance struggles, carefully documented problems, and minimally effective solutions that would satisfy any Confederation inspector. The encrypted secondary logs told a different story. Power efficiency improved another 12% with the new distribution node. Engineer Patel reported, his normally rumpled uniform now showing grease stains from his latest installation project. We've managed to integrate the Moraxian flux capacitors with our existing power grid. Technically impossible according to Confederation engineering principles. But Confederation engineers don't think like humans. Chen finished with a smile. Excellent work, Mr. Patel. Lieutenant Okafor entered the bridge, her expression serious. Captain, we're receiving a distress call. Confederation merchant vessel Iridium Dawn reports they're under attack by raiders approximately 2 light hours from our position. The bridge crew froze momentarily. This was the moment they'd both anticipated and dreaded. The first real test of their modifications under combat conditions. Put it through, Chen ordered. The communication system crackled before stabilizing into a static-filled transmission. A panicked Delvian captain appeared on screen, his facial tendrils writhing in distress. Mayday, mayday. This is Captain Zorith of the Iridium Dawn. We are under attack by a Sakaar-class raider vessel. Engines disabled. Hull breach on Deck 3. Please assist. The transmission cut abruptly as weapons fire flashed in the background. Chen straightened in her command chair. Location confirmed. Coordinates verified. Ensign Jackson responded from navigation. We can reach them in 17 minutes at maximum propulsion. Chen activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands to battle stations. Initiate Protocol Phoenix. Throughout the vessel, crew members moved with practiced efficiency, accessing hidden panels, activating concealed systems, and bringing their clandestine modifications online while maintaining the external appearance of a standard patrol vessel. Confederation protocol states we should report the incident and request proper combat vessels to respond. Science Officer we noted, though his fingers were already activating the enhanced sensor array they'd installed the previous week. By the time reinforcements arrive, the Iridium Dawn will be stripped and its crew either captured or killed. Chen replied. Navigation. Set intercept course. Maximum speed. The Tenuous Hope accelerated with newfound power, its reinforced structural integrity field, absorbing stresses that would have threatened to tear the original design apart. 17 minutes later, they dropped out of transluminal space near the coordinates of the distress call. The tactical display showed a grim scenario. The Iridium Dawn a mid-sized cargo vessel, drifted with its engines dark. A sleek, predatory raider ship, significantly larger and more powerful than the Tenuous Hope had attached docking tubes and was clearly in the process of forced boarding. Raider vessel identified as the Shadow Viper Okafor reported. Known affiliate of the Kerrigan Syndicate. Last intelligence report indicated heavy modifications, including military-grade weapons. They've detected our arrival. An incoming transmission flashed on the main screen. A Skurd Valkyran appeared, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused. Confederation patrol vessel, he sneered, displaying sharpened teeth. You're far beyond your capabilities. This isn't your concern. One obsolete ship against my vessel would be suicide. Retreat now, and your lives will be spared. Chen's expression remained professionally neutral. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Confederation vessel Tenuous Hope *. You are engaged in illegal actions against a registered merchant vessel. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. The bridge speakers carried the sound of derisive laughter before the raider captain cut the transmission. They're powering weapons, Okafor reported calmly. Targeting systems locked on us. Shields at full capacity, White confirmed. Modified harmonics active, but masked from standard detection. Chen nodded. Helm, initiate evasive pattern Delta. Tactical, prepare to execute combat plan Phoenix 3. What followed shocked even the Tenuous Hope's crew. The patrol vessel moved with startling agility, executing maneuvers that should have been impossible for its class. When the raider fired its first salvo, a barrage that would have crippled a standard patrol vessel, the shots connected with shields operating on frequencies completely different from Confederation standards. Instead of merely deflecting the energy, the modified shields absorbed and redistributed it through pathways Engineer Patel had designed based on Earth's historical power grid systems. The Tenuous Hope briefly glowed with dispersed energy before redirecting a portion of that power to its weapon systems. The return fire seemed underwhelming by conventional metrics, lower energy signatures than standard Confederation weapons, but each shot targeted specific vulnerabilities in the raider vessel's design, focusing precision strikes where shielding transitioned between coverage zones, a tactical approach inspired by ancient Earth martial arts principles of finding weakness at connection points. Their forward shields are failing, Okafor reported with barely concealed amazement, engine power fluctuating. They're attempting to break contact and escape. Disable their propulsion, Chen ordered. Prepare boarding teams. A final precision strike severed the raider's main power coupling. The Shadow Viper drifted helplessly as the Tenuous Hope maneuvered alongside. 90 minutes later, Security Chief Navarro reported from the captured vessel. Raider crew secured, Captain. 17 prisoners in total. The merchant vessel's crew is safe. 3 injuries, but Dr. Vasquez says all will recover fully. When Confederation security forces arrived 6 hours later, they found the situation neatly resolved. Raiders in custody, merchant crew receiving medical attention, and the Tenuous Hope showing evidence of battle damage consistent with surviving through incredible luck against a superior opponent. The official after-action report noted the human crew's reckless engagement despite equipment limitations, and unorthodox tactics that somehow proved effective. A commendation was reluctantly issued, alongside a formal caution against engaging opponents beyond their vessel's classification in the future. As the security cruiser departed with the prisoners, Lieutenant Rodriguez joined Captain Chen in the observation lounge. "They can't decide whether to reprimand us for engaging or praise us for succeeding," Rodriguez noted with amusement. Chen smiled, watching the stars through the viewport. "Perfect. Confusion buys us time. Time to complete what we've started. The crew is calling today's action the Phoenix Revelation," Rodriguez added. "First proof that our impossible project actually works." "Phase 1 complete," Chen agreed. "But we've only just begun showing the galaxy what humans can accomplish with a little ingenuity and the right motivation." Inspection notification received. Communications Officer Park announced, looking up from his console with concern. "Confederation vessel * regulatory compliance * will rendezvous with us in 3 standard days for quarterly assessment." Captain Chen maintained her composure, though the timing couldn't have been worse. They were midway through integrating their most ambitious modifications yet, a hybrid propulsion system combining Confederation technology with principles derived from Earth's experimental fusion research. "Acknowledged, Lieutenant. Alert all department heads for immediate conference." 30 minutes later, Chen addressed her senior officers in the secure briefing room they'd established within an isolated section of the life support system, one of many compartments they'd repurposed during their renovations. 3 days to prepare for inspection, Chen stated simply. "Opinions?" Chief Engineer Patel ran a hand through his perpetually disheveled hair. "Impossible to revert all modifications in that time frame. The power distribution network alone would take 5 days to return to Confederation standard configuration." "We don't revert," Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez suggested. "We conceal." Security Chief Navarro nodded in agreement. "We've been developing compartmentalized systems for exactly this scenario. The question is whether we can implement the full concealment protocol in time." Chen studied the holographic ship schematic hovering above the table, with modified systems highlighted in red. Nearly 60% of the vessel now operated on principles that would immediately trigger suspicion from Confederation inspectors. "We need to create an inspection-ready version of the Tenuous Hope," Chen decided. "A ship within our ship. A facade that can withstand standard examination protocols. Dr. Vasquez, you've worked with Confederation inspection teams before. What level of scrutiny should we expect?" The medical officer considered the question. "Commander Zex Morta conducts thorough but predictable inspections. His species relies heavily on scanning equipment rather than direct observation. Their evolutionary background makes them somewhat blind to improvisational thinking. They follow inspection checklists rigorously, but rarely deviate to investigate anomalies that don't fit expected parameters. That gives us our approach," Chen concluded. "We create sensor shadows, systems that present Confederation standard signatures to mask our modifications. Lieutenant Okafor, coordinate with engineering to identify critical facade points. Science Officer Wei, develop sensor reflection protocols to disguise power signatures." For the next 72 hours, the crew worked in continuous shifts. Sleep was minimal, nutrition delivered via stimulant-laced meal replacements, and every compartment buzzed with focused activity. They weren't simply hiding their improvements, they were creating an elaborate technological illusion. When the * regulatory compliance * appeared on their sensors, the * Tenuous Hope * presented the expected profile of a struggling, obsolete patrol vessel operating at minimal efficiency. Commander Zex Morta materialized in the transporter room, his translucent skin shimmering with the familiar yellow tinge of professional condescension. 2 technical specialists accompanied him, carrying standard inspection equipment. Captain Chen, the commander acknowledged with minimal courtesy. "Quarterly assessment proceeding is scheduled. We will require access to all systems, particularly those involved in your recent encounter with raiders." Chen nodded professionally. "Of course, Commander. We've prepared all logs and systems for inspection. Lieutenant Rodriguez will escort your team." The inspection proceeded methodically. In engineering, Paddle demonstrated the ongoing challenges of maintaining the aging reactor, carefully operating the facade control systems they'd installed over their actual modifications. The inspection team recorded numerous inefficiencies and technical compromises that had been deliberately programmed into the performance displays. In the medical bay, Dr. Vasquez presented outdated equipment functioning at minimal capacity, hiding the advanced diagnostic systems behind false panels and redirected power signatures. Throughout the vessel, crew members performed their roles flawlessly, presenting the image of professionals making the best of limited resources. Commander Zex Morta concluded his inspection in the captain's ready room, reviewing findings on his data tablet. "Your vessel continues to operate below optimal Confederation standards," he noted with an air of satisfaction. "However, you appear to be maintaining minimum functional parameters despite resource limitations." Chen accepted the assessment with appropriate humility. "We do our best with what we have, Commander." "Your engagement with the raider vessel was reckless," Zex Morta continued, mandibles clicking in disapproval. "Patrol vessels of your class are not rated for combat against Sakaar-class raiders. Your success appears to have been the result of statistical improbability rather than tactical competence." "We were fortunate," Chen agreed, suppressing a smile. "Ensure your future operations adhere strictly to patrol guidelines. Your assignment remains unchanged. Continue monitoring the empty quarter until further notice." After the inspection team departed, the senior officers gathered in their secure briefing room, tension finally releasing in cautious celebration. They didn't detect a thing, Patel marveled. All that work actually paid off. Intelligence Officer Liang activated a secure data terminal. "More than you realize. While they were inspecting our systems, I was accessing theirs." The holographic display materialized above the table, showing classified Confederation tactical data. "The Vkari Collective has increased activity along 3 border sectors," Liang explained, highlighting threat assessments and fleet movements. "They've developed new weapon technology, quantum-shifted phase disruptors that bypass standard Confederation shields. Fleet Command is redistributing assets to counter potential incursions." Chen studied the intelligence with growing concern. "The empty quarter isn't directly threatened, which explains why we haven't been reassigned. We're considered non-essential assets." "There's more," Liang continued. "I accessed performance data from recent engagements. Confederation vessels are struggling against these new Vkari weapons. Their shield configurations can't adapt quickly enough to the quantum shifting." Engineer Patel leaned forward, eyes widening. "But our modified shield harmonics might actually be effective. We've been experimenting with rapid modulation patterns that conventional designs can't achieve." Chen nodded slowly as the implications became clear. "We've inadvertently been preparing for a threat the Confederation doesn't even know how to counter." She gestured to the star chart. "While the main fleet focuses on protecting primary systems, the Vkari could push through less defended regions, including ours. Perfect timing to complete our upgrades without interruption," Security Chief Navarro observed. "And perfect timing to be the only defense available if they push into this sector," Chen added. "Accelerate all remaining modifications. If war is coming, I want the tenuous hope ready for whatever we might face." Science Officer Wei studied the Vkari weapons data with professional interest. "If I'm interpreting this correctly, their phase technology operates on principles similar to what we've been developing. They're thinking more like humans than like the Confederation." "Then it's time we showed them what actual humans can accomplish," Chen replied. "Project Phoenix enters its final phase. Let's turn this patrol vessel into something the galaxy has never seen before." The science vessel Empirical Discovery broadcast its distress call across all frequencies, the normally precise Sendorian communication protocols breaking down into desperate pleas as 3 Vkari warships systematically disabled its research modules. The message reached the tenuous hope during deep space trials of their latest propulsion modifications. "Message authenticated," Communications Officer Park confirmed, his expression grim. "Xendorian science vessel reports critical damage. 42 researchers and 18 support staff aboard." Captain Chen immediately assessed the tactical display. Position: approximately 22 minutes from our location at maximum speed. Ensign Jackson replied from navigation. The Valkyrie appeared to be disabling rather than destroying the vessel. Nearest Confederation response vessel? Chen asked, already suspecting the answer. Lieutenant Okafor checked the encrypted fleet deployment data they'd extracted during the inspection. Heavy cruiser Indomitable Purpose is patrolling the Calderon sector boundary. Estimated arrival time: 4 hours, 17 minutes. Science Officer Wei looked up from his sensor readings. Captain, preliminary analysis suggests the Valkyrie vessels match the configuration in the intelligence reports. Quantum-shifted phase disruptors confirmed. The bridge fell silent as the implications became clear. The tenuous hope stood as the only defense between Valkyrie raiders and defenseless researchers, facing weapons specifically designed to overcome conventional Confederation defenses. Chen activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. We are responding to a distress call from a Confederation science vessel under attack by Valkyrie forces. She paused, considering her next words carefully. For months, we've rebuilt this ship based on human principles rather than Confederation doctrine. Everything we've created in secret is about to be tested against a superior enemy. I have complete faith in this crew and what we've accomplished together. Throughout the vessel, crew members moved with practiced efficiency, activating systems, securing compartments, and preparing for combat. In engineering, Patil personally monitored the hybrid power core they'd constructed, its energy signature unlike anything in Confederation or Valkyrie databases. All modifications online and functioning at optimal parameters, he reported. Power reserves at 112% of theoretical maximum. Chen nodded. Navigator, plot intercept course. Maximum speed. The tenuous hope accelerated with capabilities that defied its official specifications. The reinforced structural integrity field absorbed stresses that would have torn the original design apart, while the modified inertial dampeners protected the crew from forces that would have otherwise been fatal. They dropped out of transluminal space half a light minute from the attack site, sensors immediately providing tactical data. The Xendorian research vessel drifted helplessly, its elegant spire-like sensor arrays shattered and propulsion nodes dark. Surrounding it, 3 Valkyrie warships maintained precise formation, sleek, predatory vessels bristling with advanced weapon systems. Valkyrie vessels have detected us, Okafor reported calmly. They're breaking formation to intercept. An incoming transmission flashed on the main view screen. The Valkyrie commander appeared, humanoid, but with distinctive ridged skull plates and eyes adapted for the ultraviolet spectrum, giving them an unsettling purple glow. Confederation patrol vessel, the commander stated with cold precision. Your arrival is fortuitous. You will witness the consequences of your government's technological arrogance before we destroy you. Chen's expression remained professionally neutral. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Confederation vessel Tenuous Hope. You are attacking a civilian research ship in violation of the Galactic conventions. Withdraw immediately. The Valkyrie commander's mouth formed what might have been a smile on a human face. A human crew. Even better. Your species' recent integration into the Confederation makes you particularly suitable witnesses to its inadequacy. Prepare to be eliminated. The transmission ended abruptly. On the tactical display, the 3 Valkyrie vessels moved into attack formation, their weapons powering up with energy signatures that fluctuated in the quantum patterns Wei had identified. Chen activated internal communications. This is where everything we've built gets tested. Remember your training and trust your shipmates. She turned to her bridge crew. Tactical. Implement combat pattern Phoenix 7. Helm. Evasive sequence Earth Raptor. What followed defied conventional tactical analysis. The Tenuous Hope executed maneuvers based on Earth avian predator flight patterns. Unpredictable 3-dimensional vectors combining sudden acceleration with momentary power redistributions that confused Valkyrie targeting systems. When the first salvo of quantum-shifted weapons fire connected, it encountered shields modulating through frequencies derived from mathematical principles, unknown in FCARI or Confederation engineering. Shields holding at 87%. Wei reported with barely contained excitement. Their quantum shifting isn't matching our modulation patterns. The tenuous Hope's return fire appeared underwhelming by conventional metrics, lower energy signatures than standard Confederation weapons. But each shot targeted microscopic vulnerabilities in FCARI design, focusing energy precisely where shields transitioned between states. On the FCARI command vessel, confusion spread as targeting computers failed to establish effective firing solutions against the patrol ship's erratic movement patterns. Their shields, calibrated to resist traditional Confederation weapon configurations, registered multiple localized failures against the precisely targeted human attacks. They're adapting their shield configurations, Okafor warned, as the battle entered its 7th minute. Effectiveness of standard targeting approaches diminishing. Implement targeting pattern Mongoose, Chen ordered, referencing Earth's lightning-fast predator known for killing venomous snakes. Focus fire on their port sensor arrays. The tenuous Hope executed a maneuver that momentarily cut main engines, rotating on multiple axes simultaneously while maintaining forward momentum. A technique impossible for most pilots, but one that Lieutenant Jackson had perfected during simulation exercises. The unexpected vector change placed the patrol vessel directly between two FCARI cruisers, forcing them to adjust weapons fire to avoid hitting their own ships. In that critical moment of hesitation, the human vessel unleashed precisely calculated strikes against both opponents simultaneously, targeting command and control systems rather than primary weapons or engines. The FCARI vessels, their tactical coordination suddenly compromised, fired uncoordinated salvos that crossed paths where the tenuous Hope had been milliseconds earlier. FCARI vessels 1 and 2 have sustained critical damage to their communication systems, Okafor reported. Their formation is breaking down. The third FCARI vessel, recognizing the unexpected danger, attempted to disengage. A tactical retreat to regroup and reassess. Chen anticipated the maneuver. Pursuit course. Weapons, target their propulsion but leave them functional. I want survivors to report what happened here. 27 minutes after entering the engagement, the tenuous Hope stood victorious. Two FCARI vessels drifted with critical systems disabled, while the third limped away at sublight speed, transmitting encoded communications back to their fleet. As medical teams transferred to assist the Xendorian research vessel, senior researcher Zovilex approached Captain Chen with trembling appendages. I have studied theoretical xenotechnology for 60 years, Captain. What your vessel accomplished against 3 FCARI warships was mathematically impossible. Chen allowed herself a tired smile. Welcome to humanity's contribution to the galaxy, Professor. We specialize in impossible. The tenuous Hope limped into Confederation Central Dock Epsilon 7, its exterior bearing the honorable scars of combat. Superficial hull damage and scorch marks from FCARI weapons fire told a story of survival against overwhelming odds. Behind the battle-worn facade, however, the ship's true capabilities remained hidden from casual observation. Captain Chen stood on the bridge, watching through the viewscreen as the massive docking facility enveloped them. A reception committee waited on the main platform, a mixture of Admiralty staff, technical specialists, and what appeared to be political representatives from the Confederation Council. They've sent the big guns, Lieutenant Okafor observed quietly. 37 separate information requests transmitted in the last 6 hours, Communications Officer Park added, including personal messages from Admiral Skitarl demanding explanations. Chen nodded. Defeating 3 FCARI warships with an obsolete patrol vessel tends to raise questions. How much do we reveal? Asked Rodriguez. Only what serves our interests, Chen replied. The Confederation needs our innovations to counter the FCARI threat. Our leverage exists in this precise moment, while they're desperate to understand how we succeeded. The formal reception proceeded with rigid Confederation protocol masking obvious confusion. Admiral Skitarl personally led the delegation, his translucent skin fluctuating between yellow uncertainty and blue professional authority. "Captain Chen," he acknowledged with minimal courtesy. "The Confederation Defense Council requires immediate debriefing regarding your encounter with Carey forces." The science vessel Empirical Discovery transmitted detailed sensor recordings of the engagement, recordings that defy conventional tactical analysis. "Of course, Admiral," Chen replied with appropriate deference. "My crew stands ready to assist the Confederation in any way possible." The debriefing took place in a secure facility deep within the station. Technical specialists, tactical analysts, and senior military officials crowded the chamber, their attention fixed on the holographic battle reconstruction playing above the central table. Admiral Skitarl cut directly to his primary concern. "Explain how an obsolete patrol vessel defeated 3 frontline Carey warships." Chen began with diplomatic vagueness, a carefully constructed narrative about fortunate circumstances and unexpected tactical opportunities. Engineer Patel, however, couldn't contain his professional pride. He activated his personal data terminal, interfacing with the holographic display to reveal layer after layer of their modifications. "We rebuilt her from the inside out," Patel explained, highlighting systems that merged Confederation technology with human approaches. "Most importantly, we stopped thinking like the Confederation, or the Carey, and started thinking like humans with access to advanced technology." The technical assessment team cycled through expressions of disbelief, outrage, and reluctant admiration as Patel demonstrated how they had fundamentally reimagined Confederation engineering principles. "These power couplings shouldn't function together," muttered a Trilaxian engineer, mandibles clicking in agitation. "The shield modulation should cause cascade failures. The weapon calibrations defy standard harmonics." "Yet they work," Chen pointed out. "Sometimes innovation requires breaking established rules." Admiral Skitarl's skin darkened to a deep purple, the Vexidian equivalent of controlled anger. "You modified Confederation property without authorization. You integrated salvage technology without certification. You operated experimental systems without proper testing protocols. And we defeated 3 Carey warships when conventional vessels would have been destroyed," Chen countered calmly. "The sensor logs from the Empirical Discovery confirm the Carey are deploying quantum-shifted phase disruptors, weapons specifically designed to overcome standard Confederation defenses. The political fallout manifested within hours. Conservative factions within the Confederation hierarchy demanded the humans be censured for unauthorized modifications to Confederation property. They proposed impounding the tenuous Hope and reassigning its crew to separate postings, effectively dismantling the team that had created the innovations. Military pragmatists, led by Fleet Commander Thorez, argued for immediately implementing the human modifications across key defensive vessels. Their position strengthened when intelligence reports confirmed a major Carey fleet movement toward Confederation space. The compromise emerged after 3 days of contentious debate. The tenuous Hope would become the template for the rapid modernization of 20 patrol vessels, designated the Hope-class hybrid warships. Captain Chen and her senior officers would oversee the implementation while training mixed-species crews in their unconventional tactical approaches. "A surprising victory," Intelligence Officer Liang observed during the crew's first private gathering after the decision. "Though not everyone is pleased with our sudden elevation." Chen nodded. "The sabotage attempts have already begun." During the initial retrofit process, engineering teams discovered critical systems mysteriously reconfigured on 2 vessels. Anonymous messages circulated throughout the station questioning whether humans could be trusted with advancing Confederation technology so soon after joining the interstellar community. "They don't fear our ship," Chen observed to her original crew during a rare private gathering in her quarters. "They fear how quickly we've moved from unwanted newcomers to essential allies. Some species spent centuries proving their value to the Confederation. We've done it in months." Security Chief Navarro raised his glass. "To the weakest ship in the fleet, and the species everyone underestimated." As retrofit operations continued, The empirical discovery completed its analysis of the battle recordings. Senior researchers of Alex personally delivered the findings to Captain Chen. We've confirmed that your shield modulation patterns effectively countered the Vkari quantum shifting, the Exendorian scientist explained, multiple eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of intense interest. However, we've also detected evidence that the surviving Vkari vessel transmitted detailed scans of your systems before retreating. Chen understood the implications immediately. They're already developing countermeasures. Precisely, Zavalex confirmed. The Vkari evolutionary path produced highly adaptive problem solvers. They will study your tactics and technology, then develop specific responses. Then we'll need to evolve faster than they can adapt, Chen replied. Fortunately, that's what humans do best. As the first Hope-class vessels completed their retrofits, Confederation intelligence detected unusual Vkari fleet movements along 3 border sectors. Analysis suggested they were implementing widespread tactical changes, preparing specifically to counter what they'd witnessed during the tenuous Hope engagement. They're coming, Admiral Skatarl acknowledged during an emergency council session, and they believe they're ready for whatever innovations the humans have created. Chen studied the tactical projections with growing concern. They've adapted to what they've seen, but they've made one critical miscalculation. What miscalculation? The Admiral demanded. They believe they're fighting upgraded ships, Chen replied, when they should be preparing to fight humans. The holographic tactical display in Confederation Command Center Alpha showed devastating losses across 3 border sectors. Vkari battle groups had launched simultaneous attacks, deploying vessels specifically configured to counter Hope-class modifications. Conventional Confederation ships suffered catastrophic defeats, while even the newly upgraded vessels struggled against opponents who had studied and adapted to their innovations. 7th Fleet reports 90% losses in the Denarian sector, the tactical officer announced, voice strained with professional detachment. Hope-class vessel Asterisk determined Advance Asterisk, heavily damaged but maintaining position. Admiral Skatarl's skin had faded to an ashen gray, the Vexidian physiological response to extreme stress. Around the command table, representatives from 12 species monitored reports from their respective forces, each update more discouraging than the last. Captain Chen, now bearing the rank of Commodore, studied the 3-dimensional display with intense concentration. She had been summoned to the Emergency War Council session after the first reports of Vkari breakthrough tactics. The Vkari have adapted their shield configurations to counter our targeting algorithms, Chen observed. They've also modified their weapons to cycle through frequencies that match our shield modulation patterns. Your innovations have failed, declared Council Representative Mox Terran, the hegemonic delegate's facial ridges flushing deep orange with accusation. We restructured our defensive strategy around human modifications, and now we face unprecedented defeats. Chen turned to address the full council. The Vkari have adapted to what they've seen. They've prepared for the specific innovations we demonstrated, but they've made a fundamental miscalculation. What miscalculation? Demanded Admiral Skatarl. They believe they're fighting upgraded ships, Chen replied, when they should be preparing to fight humans. Our advantage isn't technology, it's how we think. Her proposal shocked the tradition-bound council. Each Hope-class vessel would operate independently using tactical approaches drawn from Earth's diverse military history, rather than following standardized Confederation doctrine. Coordinated chaos, Chen called it. The Vkari expect us to fight like the Confederation with better technology. Instead, they'll face 20 different tactical approaches simultaneously. Impossible, objected Fleet Commander Vox Heller. Military effectiveness requires coordinated strategy. Your proposal contradicts 5,000 years of established doctrine. 5,000 years of doctrine that evolved without human participation, Chen countered. Earth developed hundreds of distinct combat philosophies across our history precisely because we lacked unified governance. We turned our greatest weakness into strength through diversity of approach. The debate raged for hours as carry forces continued their advance through Confederation space. Finally, with reluctance born of desperation, the Council approved Chen's strategy. The Hope-class captains, a mix of humans and open-minded Confederation officers, received their unusual orders: select historical Earth military strategies and adapt them for space combat. "You want us to choose our own tactics," clarified Captain Tezorin of the Adaptive Response *, his feathered crest rising in confusion. "Precisely," Chen confirmed over the secure channel. "Lieutenant Park is transmitting the Earth Military Historical Database. Select an approach that resonates with your understanding of warfare, then implement it with your unique interpretation." The response from Hope-class commanders ranged from bewilderment to excitement. Most non-human captains had evolved in species with centralized military traditions. The concept of tactical diversity represented a paradigm shift in their understanding of warfare. 72 hours later, the results began to manifest across multiple fronts. The Hope-class vessel Persistent Vision, commanded by Captain Haruki Tanaka, employed classical Japanese naval tactics, appearing to retreat before executing devastating flanking maneuvers that separated carry support vessels from their command ships. In the Colares sector, Captain Maria Rodriguez applied principles from the ancient Aztec military, creating elaborate deception operations that lured carry forces into prepared killing zones. Captain Tezorin, after studying Earth's history, adapted Zulu encirclement techniques to space warfare with remarkable effectiveness. The Carry, whose species evolved with neurological tendencies toward unified thought patterns, struggled against such unpredictable approaches. Their centralized command structure couldn't adapt quickly enough to counter 20 different strategic doctrines simultaneously. Their advanced technology, calibrated to defeat specific modifications, proved insufficient against constantly shifting human innovation. The decisive engagement came at the Calderon Expanse, a narrow corridor of navigable space between two regions of intense gravitational distortion. Commodore Chen led 3 Hope-class vessels against the Carry main fleet in what would later be recorded as the Battle of Calderon Pass. Chen's strategy derived from Earth's ancient Battle of Thermopylae, with principles from the naval Battle of Salamis. She positioned her vessels at the narrowest point of the corridor, where the numerically superior carry ships couldn't bring their full firepower to bear without risking collision with their own forces. "Carry command vessel is adjusting formation," reported Lieutenant Okafor from Tactical. "They're attempting to counter our positioning with a dispersed attack pattern." "Exactly as anticipated," Chen replied. "Execute Maneuver Leonidas III." What followed demonstrated warfare elevated to art form. The 3 Hope-class vessels executed coordinated yet unpredictable movements that forced the Carry into increasingly compromised positions. When Carry commanders attempted to predict human tactics based on previous encounters, they found themselves facing entirely new approaches. "Their coordination is breaking down," Okafor reported as the battle entered its 3rd hour. "Carry vessel communications show increasing command disputes." Chen nodded. "They're experiencing tactical paralysis. Too many contradictory threats to process efficiently." She activated the secure channel to her companion vessels. "Implement final phase. Targeting priorities as discussed." In perfect synchronization that belied their seemingly chaotic movements, the 3 Hope-class vessels executed precision strikes against Carry command and control systems rather than weapons or propulsion. As communication breakdowns cascaded through the Carry fleet, individual ship commanders began making independent decisions, exactly the vulnerability Chen had anticipated. The Carry evolved as communal problem solvers, she had explained during mission planning. Their greatest strength is unified response. Their greatest weakness is decision-making without consensus. 6 hours after engagement began, the Carry fleet commander transmitted surrender protocols. 17 vessels had been neutralized, 12 had retreated in disarray, and 3 had been captured intact, an unprecedented victory that immediately reversed the strategic situation across 3 sectors. As Confederation reinforcements secured the region, Chen received an unexpected communication request from the captured HFY command vessel. Supreme Commander X-Varric himself appeared on screen, compound eyes studying Chen with calculating intensity. "You changed the parameters," the HFY commander stated. "Not an accusation, but a professional observation. We prepared for technological countermeasures, not philosophical ones." Chen nodded respectfully to her defeated opponent. "That's the human difference, Commander. We don't just adapt our tools, we adapt our thinking." "A distinction," X-Varric acknowledged. "That will necessitate significant reconsideration of our approach to this conflict." The Grand Assembly Hall of the Confederation capital World Harmonious Unity gleamed with ceremonial lighting as representatives from 117 member species gathered for the historic occasion. The peace negotiations with the HFY Collective had concluded after 3 intense weeks, producing an unprecedented treaty that would reshape galactic politics for generations. Most surprising to the gathered dignitaries was the HFY Supreme Commander's unprecedented request: direct negotiations with human representatives rather than the Confederation Council. The resulting talks had taken place aboard the Tenuous Hope *, now recognized throughout the galaxy as the vessel that changed the course of interstellar warfare. Captain Maya Chen, newly promoted to admiral despite the political resistance from conservative factions, stood beside HFY Supreme Commander X-Varric as the treaty terms were formally presented to the Assembly. The juxtaposition was striking. The human officer in her dress uniform alongside the imposing arthropoid commander, whose species had nearly conquered the Confederation. "The terms of peace have been accepted by all parties," announced High Counselor X-Varia, the venerable Vexidian diplomat who had overseen the final negotiations. "This day marks not merely the end of conflict, but the beginning of a new understanding between civilizations." Later, during the formal reception, X-Varric approached Chen at a relatively quiet moment. The HFY commander studied her with compound eyes that reflected complex calculations. "We made a fundamental strategic error," the HFY commander admitted, mandibles moving in the subtle pattern that humans had learned indicated thoughtful reflection. "Our intelligence indicated humans were physically inferior, technologically primitive, and given the least valuable resources within the Confederation." Chen nodded. "An understandable assessment based on surface observations. Yet you transformed obsolete technology into innovations our best engineers couldn't predict." X-Varric continued. "More significantly, your tactics demonstrated something our species has never encountered: true adaptability without centralized control. Humans evolved under conditions that required individual innovation," Chen explained. "Our planet contained thousands of distinct ecosystems, each demanding different survival strategies. We developed diversity of thought as our primary evolutionary advantage, a quality our species never required," X-Varric acknowledged. "The unified consciousness that makes us formidable in conventional warfare became our greatest vulnerability when facing human unpredictability." The resulting peace treaty included unprecedented provisions, technological exchange programs, and mixed species research initiatives focused on combining different evolutionary perspectives. Most significantly, the treaty established the Interspecies Tactical Innovation Academy, where military strategists from all civilizations would study varied approaches to problem-solving. 1 standard year later, the Confederation Technological Innovation Corps opened its headquarters, with humans holding key leadership positions despite their recent arrival in the galactic community. The Tenuous Hope *, restored beyond its battle configuration, became both a training vessel and living museum, where officers from all member species studied the art of adaptive thinking. Admiral Chen, addressing the first graduating class of the new Confederation Academy, summarized the lesson that had transformed galactic politics. "The greatest technology in the universe isn't a weapon or a shield, it's the evolved capacity to see beyond limitations." For thousands of years, humans survived on Earth by turning obstacles into opportunities. We never became the strongest species, or the fastest, or even the smartest by conventional metrics. Instead, we became the species that could take what others discarded and transform it into something unexpected. Engineer Patel, now director of hybrid technologies, had implemented training programs that deliberately mixed technologies from different civilizations, teaching students to find synergies between systems never designed to work together. The philosophy of creative incompatibility became a foundational principle in Confederation engineering doctrine. Security Chief Navarro established the Asymmetric Response Division, where tacticians learn to analyze conflicts from multiple cultural perspectives simultaneously. His simulation programs deliberately introduced incompatible parameters, forcing students to develop flexible problem-solving approaches rather than relying on established doctrine. Perhaps most meaningful was the transformation in how the Confederation viewed technological development itself. The old approach, perfect optimization within established parameters, gave way to intentional cross-pollination of disparate principles. Innovation accelerated across all member worlds as species began sharing not just their technologies, but their foundational thinking processes. As Chen's commencement address concluded, news arrived of unusual signals from uncharted space beyond the galactic rim, potentially a new hyper-advanced civilization making contact. The Confederation's response was telling. They immediately requested human involvement in first contact protocols, recognizing that the newest member species offered perspectives unavailable in their 5,000-year history. Later that evening, the original crew of the Tenuous Hope gathered in Chen's private quarters for a rare reunion. The room contained mementos from their journey, a damaged circuit board from their first modification, the tactical display from their battle with the Raiders, and a ceremonial medallion presented by the Sandorian scientists they had rescued. When they gave us that obsolete patrol vessel, they thought they were teaching us our place in the galaxy, Rodriguez reflected, raising her glass in toast. Instead, we taught them that the weakest ship in the wrong hands becomes the strongest. Not the wrong hands, Chen corrected with a smile. The right hands that no one recognized. Dr. Vasquez gestured toward the viewport, where the gleaming spires of the Confederation capital reflected the light of twin setting suns. They see us differently now. We're no longer the primitive newcomers to be tolerated. They still don't fully understand us, Patil observed. And that's our greatest advantage. Humans will always find new ways to surprise the galaxy. As the gathering continued into the night, a message arrived from Confederation High Command. The Tenuous Hope would lead the expedition to investigate the signals from beyond the rim. The official orders acknowledged what the galaxy had finally recognized. When facing the unknown, there was no greater asset than human adaptability. What had begun as the galaxy's weakest ship had transformed not just itself, but an entire civilization's understanding of strength. The humans had proved that true power comes not from what you're given, but from what you create with whatever you have. The Tenuous Hope once a cast-off vessel destined for failure, now embodied a philosophy spreading throughout the stars. Never underestimate a species that thrives on turning disadvantages into strengths.